So we're here with Stephen Kelly. How are you doing, Stephen?
No, Marcy, well, what's the crack?
Sure, nothing too much now. Yourself, what are you up to?
Well, at the minute I'm enjoying a couple of beers out of my my own bar.
Yeah, when you text me and said you're in a bar, I was kind of like, how did you get into a bar? It's a homemade one.
I did. Yeah, it's got the fire on and everything in the corner there, but no, it was a product of the boom, the good times. So
Yeah.
we made a bar. Myself and my father made a big bar out in one of the garages that we had, and has taps and everything, so rightly set up. Not that we'd be using them now. Not that we're using them.
What have you got on tap out there?
There's Smithwick's and Heineken, but I think there used to be Guinness in one. But they all work off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Guinness has gone dry, is it?
The Guinness has gone dry, but we have a few cans. We'll never go too far out of Guinness. Anyway.
So I suppose the first thing then is the Hardy books. Like, you'd have to start there. How did you end up getting into it? Did you know all the lads, or?
I knew the most one I knew was Martin, who plays Eddie Durkin.
Yeah.
Martin moved over when he was 12, or actually 13 or 14, from Liverpool. Myself and Martin just sort of connected because he was sort of when he landed first. Martin never changed. He was very brash, and he came over from Liverpool with this like real Liverpool accent, and he clashed heads with a lot of the tough boys in school, and I liked him straight away. I thought there was something about this guy, and we just got on awful well. So we used to go scheming. We used to go scheming from school, or mitching, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So Martin was always sort of like coming up with these weird ideas, and he wanted to be famous, and that was it. And like, he was always on with these projects and writing this sort of stuff. And of course, I came from a real working background, so like my family would be like, put your head down, do your work, get on with it. That sort of thing. But Martin kept at it. He kept doing the not the normal thing, and then he went. Then he went out. He dropped off the face of the earth for a while. He went interrailing around Europe, and I went to a lot of countries. And then one day I was walking down Shop Street in Galway. It was nighttime, and it was quiet enough, but there was a band on, sort of, say, the square, we'll call it, on Shop Street in Galway. It's like near Chigoli's there, and there was this crowd gathered around this pretty decent band, and I was just walking past the crowd. The next thing, who was there with Martin Maloney, and he said, "Oh, geez, great to see you, Stephen." Blah blah blah. And he kept, he was telling me. He said, "Remember all that stuff I was writing years ago?" And I said, "Yeah." Well, he said, "We're going to do it. We've a rough script wrote out, and we'll do it." And I thought to myself, right, yeah, we'll do it. And I thought I'd never hear it from him for ages again, but I didn't for a week or two. And then I was coming down from Galway again, and I met him in Ballantyne, and he was with a bus, or a carload of people, but there was a bus load in it. And he said, "Listen," he said, "I'll be sending you on an email what we're going to do next week." And I said, "Grand." I said, whatever you think, Martin. So I didn't really know what it was about. But I was game for anything at the time. And so then I heard nothing again for the whole week. On the Friday night, I got a text off from. He said, "Be in at the community centre tomorrow at 10:30 or 11 o'clock." He said, "Bring your Jeep and the trailer." So I said, "Grand." I went in. I said, "Is there anything I need, like clothes-wise? What will I wear?" He said, wear whatever you want." He said, "Something different. The more different it is, the better." So for some strange reason, I had been in America for a while beforehand, working, and I ended up buying a pair of leather trousers. because I thought I was the reincarnation of Jim Morrison at the time.
Okay.
And so I bought these leather trousers. So they were coming with me, and I bought this like real like heavy leather jacket, and landed in that morning with the Jeep and the trailer, and that was the Mitzi Turbo Cup, and the rest then was history. Then after that, and probably if all the live gigs that I've ever done are with the Hardy Bucks or with $3 Left.
Yeah.
That's the episode that everyone always goes back to. So that was that, and after that, then like I tried to make myself as available as possible, but like I said, I was working 5-6 days a week. I tried.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was good times. If looking back now, if I had my time over again, I would have made a lot more time for it.
Yeah. So when he first approached you with that, you probably didn't think it was going to go anywhere, like compared to what it did.
Martin was always into these crazy ideas and like harebrained schemes, and you probably don't think that like it's going to go anywhere. And like this is the West of Ireland, and these things don't happen. So full credit to Martin, Chris, Tardoff, the likes of Owen, but to bring it from where it started, from like literally a college, it was a college project that just turned into national. Simple as that. So full credit to them.
You must have had good crack making the film anyway.
Actually, the film was the only one that I wasn't involved with. I had a heart attack. A couple of months before the film started, so I was ruled out of.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That has set you back, all right.
It did. It actually, in one way, it was the best thing that ever happened to me because it gave me a wake up call. I was 27, 28 years of age, and I was hard living, hard working, hard living, hard drinking, no exercise. Maybe overweight, definitely unfit. I couldn't run the length of myself.
Yeah.
And that sort of, I was 9 days in ICU, and
fucking hell.
Yeah, so that gave me a bit of a wake up call. That after that, then I started to get into running and walking. Well, walking first, and then into light runs and stuff like that. And after that, I just kept getting longer distances, longer and longer and longer. So in the end, I ended up doing marathons and all that. But that was a big wake up call, and I missed out on actually doing the movie. But the filming of like the YouTube stuff and anything with RTE was brilliant. It was some crack. Even if RTE never showed half of it, which they didn't.
Was there a lot of stuff that they didn't deem fit for air, or?
There is at least the same amount again cut.
Yeah.
That was made. There's at least four seasons cut. There was at least another season or another whatever episodes were in any season. There was at least double that again made. Like
because there was they only put 4 in the last season, didn't they?
There was 6 made.
Yeah, and they only threw 4 in.
Yeah, but it was the same with like I think season 1 or season 2. Like the story just completely breaks down. I mean, it doesn't. Some of the stuff has started and doesn't even finish.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make sense. So it actually makes us look bad.
Yeah.
Even though we actually completed the story and put an end to the story, but RTE sort of like didn't.
They get the final say really on everything, do they? In that line.
They got the final say, and one of the seasons, whichever one. Do you know the funny thing is, I haven't watched. I don't think I've watched the full episode, because I was there and I watched it. Even if it wasn't in it, I was there and I watched what's going on. So
yeah.
it was never as good on television as it was that day. We had some brilliant sketches. I remember myself and Kevin McGarren, who played Simcard. Like we spent a full day and full night filming the scene, and everyone was involved. It was like Kevin was brilliant that particular day, and that's why it probably took so long, because he throw in the odd ad lib stuff, and like he never knew what was going to come out of him next, and he literally would make not only the other members of the cast burst out laughing, he'd make the cameramen and the soundmen who are professionals and they're used to this sort of thing, just belly over with laughing. He was brilliant, and RT never showed a minute of it, not a second.
And will you get your hands on any of that footage, or what's the story?
I think I know who has it. I know who has it. I think I know who has the footage, but I'm not going to say. I'm not even going to say who it is. But
no, we won't go down that line.
One of the characters in it anyway. But that's what I've been led to believe. But it would be great. It would be great to get some of that footage. That was just unreal. Some of that footage was unreal. Yeah.
Did you prefer it on YouTube or on the RT, or did it matter?
YouTube was way better. The crack was way better. We had, like, the Missy Turbo Cup was great crack. Up the Woods, the Drink is a Curse. That was great crack. Like that was happening live. Like that was not. If you go back to that episode, the Drink is a Curse. That was Up the Woods was as it was. There was no script. There was no nothing. That was just let go free.
Yeah. So. One of the characters that I always see that never really gets the recognition, or nobody really seems to talk about him. Can you guess who I'm talking about? He's just kind of in the background, but he's hilarious.
Not Mikey, no?
Big Mick.
Oh, Big Mick. But Big Mick.
Yeah.
If you get Big Mick, that's him again, natural. Naturally, he is like that in the pub. He's just a natural. He's Martin's uncle in real life.
Oh, is he? Yeah, I didn't know that.
He is Martin's uncle in real life, and I'm pretty sure Martin's mother actually plays his mother in it. You know, there's a scene where his mother. I think it's his mother that plays. I know she's in it at some stage. Big Mick is. He's a great character. I know there was a poll there in one of the Hardy Bucks pages, and like who was your favorite Hardy Bucks character? And Owen just about won it with the Viper coming second, and Big Mick was third. So you would have thought that
Eddie maybe or someone,
or maybe Pete or Sam and one of them, but no, Big Mick was up there. He was loved, but that's him natural. He came up with that on his own, like.
And he was game ball for recording and all that as well, yeah.
Of course he was. He loved the crack. He loved the crack. Like Martin had like it was Martin's brother-in-law that was producer as well. Mike Cacagna is married to Martin's sister, and Martin's Martin's sister also managed somewhat of the Hardy Bucks, I'm pretty sure. But real cool guys, real cool characters. And as they were all like Martin. Martin was just wired differently, wired just brilliantly.
Martin, I seen him a couple of years ago. He was VIP in Club Hell one night, rock bar in Dublin, and he was upstairs having shots and that with the promoters. And then I met him a second time. Then him and Owen just came into the shop I was working in one day randomly.
Yeah.
I think the Boo lives up near Perrystown. That's where I was in Dublin.
He did, but I think he moved since now, but maybe not too far away either. But yeah, Tom, I actually went for a run with Tom last week. He was down in Mayo, back in Mayo for a few days. We done a nice 10K. We had a lovely 10K loop around here, and we went for a nice 10K. So we're actually we've started up doing podcasts ourselves. And Tom is hopefully going to come on to a podcast, and that's be great because he hasn't done anything in so long. It'd be great to have Tom on, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. In terms of the 3 books left with the live shows, how do you enjoy that, or is there more pressure doing that, or?
Oh no, that's what I live for.
Yeah. You prefer you're grand with the whole stand up and all that, yeah.
Oh yeah, and I'd like to think I've got a lot sharper and better over the last year and a half. Yeah, I love it. I love it. It's my treat. It's for all the work that we do behind the scenes, or making videos, or like even silly pictures or whatever, podcasts and everything. It's the live show that floats my boat. I love the whole buzz of it. I love the funny thing is, I don't really get nervous, especially as soon as I get up there. The nerves are gone. That's it. I love the whole like obviously, yeah, the pressure. There's like we're always late as well. We're always late, no matter what we do. We're the worst. We're the worst timekeepers in the land. Myself and Pete and Mikey and Martin. Martin. Like we've done a lot of gigs with Martin, either us supporting Martin or Martin supporting us.
Yeah.
And we're always late. And Martin mightn't land until halfway through the set. Like, and he could be meant to be going on in 10 minutes. I remember a last minute thing. Martin was doing the Roisin Dove in Galway, and he asked me that morning would I come up and open up for him.
Yep.
So I said no problem, Martin. Yeah, I'd love to. So I landed up anyway, and Martin doesn't promote his own gigs at all. That's the only thing I'll say, and I don't think he'd be too cross at me for saying it. He doesn't promote his own gigs enough. So the thing is, no matter how big you are, you have to promote your gig, or if people don't know you're there, they're not going to go. Simple as that. But I remember going up to him, and I met him about an hour and a half or 2 hours before the gig. I went into the Roisin Dove and we got set up, and not an awful lot of tickets sold. So when he heard how many tickets it sold, he was sort of pissed off, and he decided he'd go up the town, and it was a pretty busy day. He'd go up the town. It was a lovely day as well. The sun was cracking the stones, and he'd go on Shop Street and actually start telling people about it. And we went into 2 or 3 bars as well, and had pints in the 2 or 3 bars. And that was my. But then it was like 5 minutes to when he was meant to be going on stage, and we were the other side of Galway. So we decided we'd make our way down. So we were making our way down, and we were having the crack with a load of people, and that was grand. But it's a bit late 5 minutes before you're meant to go on stage, actually telling people about the show.
Yeah.
No one's going to change their plans unless they've really nothing else to do at that stage. So we landed down anyway, and we actually got a crowd that were going to come to it, and they did. But I landed into the Roisin Dove anyway, and I'm opening up for Martin, and like I have rehearsed in my head like a quarter of my set, because obviously I'm not going to do my full set supporting someone else. So I go up and I do that, and it's about 20 minutes long. And next thing, I just turn around as I'm getting on stage, thinking that Martin is still behind me. No sign of Martin at all. He never came into the Roisin Dove. So I'm going up on stage, not knowing if Martin is even going to be coming in.
Jesus.
By the time I'm finished. So I go up on stage, and I'm about 17 minutes into it, and next thing, Martin comes through the crowd, like. But that's just Martin for you. He's an absolute genius, but you don't know what's going to come out of him.
He just lives for the moment.
And he absolutely loves it. And sometimes it works absolutely beautiful, and then other times it doesn't.
Yeah, I'd done a little bit of stand-up myself there before. One of the lads in college betted me to do it, so I'd done a few gigs in Dublin. I'd done one in Dundalk, done one up in Derry. They're great crack up there. Done Cork, Pat Short's Bar in Cork, and there's one place in Temple Bar, you probably know it, I can't really mention it, but I'm barred from there. Yeah.
Fair enough. I think I might.
It was Paddy's Day, and it was a tough crowd, and everyone was pissed, and it was we were all like, there was 7 or 8 of us, and we were trying to control people, and I ended up telling some people to shut the fuck up or go out, like, and I think that's might have what done it anyway. But then I was talking to the promoter, and he said, "Oh, you need to change your material." It wasn't nothing to do with that. It was something that you said. And then I was like, "The promoter's a really sound guy. He's from Laois. I also won't mention him." But I said to him, "No point. What's the point in censoring comedy?" And then I said, "Fuck it." Didn't bother doing it anymore.
Yeah. It's no, and there's very few things that you couldn't touch, and like it's bad when Tommy Tiernan, in my eyes, was one of the best comedians ever to come out of Ireland.
Yeah.
And there was a stage there a few years ago. He used to have to come out and actually say in the beginning of a set. It was definitely around the time he had a lot of like Down syndrome jokes.
Yeah.
The thing about it is he was an ambassador for Down syndrome Ireland.
Yeah.
He did so much for them. So, like, and he used to actually bring like Down syndrome people to the gig. But he got so much shit over. Like, I think one of them got cancelled like halfway through his set because he done them jokes. I mean, it's comedy. It's not meant to be taken serious. Now, some of the videos that I'll do, yes, they might be funny, but there's also maybe a message in them. But at the end of the day, it's meant to be the first and foremost. It's comedy. It's as simple as that. It's not meant to offend anyone. But then again, it's sometimes you have to push the boat out. Like I remember being doing a gig in the Grand Social, and it was a brilliant gig. Martin was actually there that night as well, and he supported us that night. And we had a couple of singers as well that we brought along with us, and like we tried to create a show more as well as just stand up. So I remember this lady started talking to me after the gig, and like some of my jokes would have been out there, but I'm very self-deprecating, and I think that's very important. I said if you can take the piss out of someone else, you need to be able to take the piss out of yourself as well. She said some of them were far out, and it's great. She said, shy babies don't get any sweets, and that is true. Sometimes you have to push the boat out, get attention.
Talk to us about the Rocky Road to Dublin, and I know that's significant for you, how it came about and everything like that.
The Rocky Road to Dublin. That was, Jesus Christ, that's only last April, not last April. So from the beginning, I mentioned earlier on that my heart gave out when I was 27, 28. I got mad into fitness over the years. And then when I was about, the fittest day I ever was, I was about, it's 4, maybe 3.5 years ago. 2016. It was actually the week of the centenary, the 1916 Rising. So that's like 3.5 years ago.
Yeah.
3.5 years ago, let's say, or 4. But anyway, whatever. I done a 10K on, we'll say, the Friday. It was my first 10K race. I was delighted with that. Went to work the next morning, Saturday morning. Then when I finished work, I had a few bits to do. Went and got a few cans. I think I was working the following Sunday evening, so I wasn't going to go out. I got a few cans in with the lads, so we were watching something on the telly, and suddenly I just got awful fucking tired, and I actually went to bed and left them down watching the TV, and for some strange reason I woke up with a massive headache, like maybe an hour later. Went to come down the stairs, and I never made it all the way down the stairs when I just I had a bleed in the brain, an aneurysm. And I actually ended up just falling the rest of the way. And then, it was pretty close to the bottom when I fell. Then the ambulance was called, and I don't really remember anything after that until Monday when I woke up. But Beaumont Hospital, actually Castlebar, the priest was called. It was lights out, game over. They were going to call me. And next thing, they got an email from Beaumont that obviously said scans up. Beaumont had said, listen, get this lad up as quick as you can, and we'll see what we can do. And they pretty much saved my life. So on the way, I was there for, I think it was 8 or 9 days in ICU in the Richmond unit. Is it the Richmond or the Redmond? But it's one of them, whatever the head injury unit is. I was there for just over a week, and then they shipped me back to Castlebar. But when I was being wheeled out into the ambulance to be brought home, or back down to Mayo, I said to them, I don't know whether it was the drugs or I was just happy to be going, but I said I was going to run from Dublin to Mayo because I was big into running at the time. I said I was going to run from Dublin to Mayo and pay them back for saving my life. And their actual, the nurses were just unbelievable. They were just crazy good. They were just fantastic. And I said I was going to pay them back. So it took me 2.5 years to get into a position where I felt good enough that I could actually run from Dublin to Mayo. And I remember someone saying it'll take a week. I said no. I said it'll take 3 days, and the rest then was history. When I mentioned it to Pete, who plays French Toast in the Hardy Bucks, he said, "When are we doing it?" So Pete was behind it straight away. I didn't even have to ask him. Even though that was my next sentence, I was going to ask him, but he said, "When are we doing it?" And that's when we set up $3 Left. So $3 Left really and truly isn't that old. It is literally the beginning of 2019. So
and how much did you end up raising that time?
We ended up between 16 and 17. I can't remember now, but it's 16.4, 16.5.
Yeah, and they must have been delighted with that then.
They were delighted with that. Absolutely thrilled. Of course they were. I split it between the Richmond unit and St. Raphael's children's unit because I have kids myself, and I split it between the two of them.
And what about your fundraising then? That was a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, that was well. We had intended after that. When we completed that Dublin to Mayo route in 3 days, that was fantastic. It was brilliant. We loved it. But about a week later, myself and Pete just sat down and we were like, miss it so much. It was just like an anticlimax, and we were like, fuck, what do we do? We've nothing to train for now. We've nothing to look forward to really. Gigs are gigs. The gig will come and gig will go. But we also used the focus of having a run to really focus for our mental health and our physical health as well, because you'd very easily slip back into drinking every weekend, and then suddenly you're a big fat bastard with depression Monday to Friday. So we used that to keep us focused really, and then we used different marathons to keep us focused. But we wanted to do something similar, so we wanted to do something bigger. Our idea was to do the Wild Atlantic Way, the full Wild Atlantic Way, which was 2,600 kilometers, and we were going to try and get RTE behind us as well. We were in talks with RTE. We had plans put in motion. We had people put in motion. We had picked out 2 charities. We were going to do it for Beaumont again, and then we were going to do it for the RLNI, or Royal National Lifeboat, RNLI. So for the Royal National Lifeboat Ireland, and because Pete is a lifeguard, he's a surfer. Teaches surf, and he's always in the sea. If Pete isn't eating, he's in the sea. That's as simple as that. He loves the sea. So we were going to do that. We had a lot of people on board. Next thing, COVID kicked in and killed that completely. But what we done was then over the summer, we got involved in a lot of other people's charities. So people would contact $3 Left on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and they'd say, listen guys, we're doing this, like lads from Kildare climbed seven highest peaks in Ireland over 7 days. So we got behind them and we climbed Kirkpatrick with them. We also pushed them online to promote it.
Yeah.
And then there was girls that climbed Kirkpatrick 7 days in a row. We got behind them. We climbed that a couple of times with them. We also made a couple of videos for them. So we were getting behind everything like that. So then we went up the reek with the lads from Kildare. So the lads from Kildare were a bit ahead of us coming down, and myself and Pete just stuck back, and it was a beautiful day coming down. And we were looking out over Clew Bay. I don't know if you've ever been to Clew Bay, but it's absolutely fantastic. The view from Kirkpatrick looking over Clew Bay is just magical. And I think we sort of had the idea at the exact same time. I just said to Pete, I said, Jesus said, it'd be lovely to do our own charity again, even though that the Wild Atlantic Way wasn't going to happen this year. And I thought to myself, well, why can't we do the Mayo section of the Wild Atlantic Way? And he was like, yeah, that sounds good. He said, how long is it? And so we looked it up there then. And as soon as Pete said to look it up, I knew then that it was going to happen, because Pete wouldn't check the phone for a full week if he could get away with it. He hates social media, absolutely. So when Pete said to look it up, I knew that this was going to happen. So I said it's 530 something kilometers, but that's the actual coast itself. The actual road coast is about 350. So right, he said, how long will it take us? I said, I don't know. I said, we're not going to kill ourselves like we did coming down from Dublin, because the first day coming down from Dublin, we ran 93k, which nearly fucking killed us. And it nearly killed the support crew that we had. So we didn't want to do that to anyone again. But he said 7 days. And I said, that sounds fair. I said, it sounds like a challenge. I said, but it doesn't sound like it's going to kill us. And that was grand. And then he said, well, which charity will we do it for? I said, we can't really do a charity in Dublin down in Mayo and exclusively for Mayo. And I said, and he was like, right. He said, straight away, we just looked at each other and went, Mayo Roscommon Hospice. It's local. It's probably the biggest charity. It's the hospice around Mayo and Roscommon. And we just said, yeah, that was it. And we had already met Angelina Nugent, who used to work for Midwest Radio the year before when we were promoting the Dublin to Mayo route. And I contacted her straight away, and once she heard that she was paying straight away, she was on the ball. She was fantastic. She helped us organize so much. So I actually drove it. I drove it then one day myself, and Chris Gavigan, who got behind us as well. And in fairness to him, he spent 4 or 5 weeks promoting it, and that was the beauty of this charity, the Dublin to Mayo route. We had spent like 6 months promoting it. We knew we only had a very short space of time to promote this one because of daylight. You need daylight to run, or to be safe, for like support crew. So we knew we only had 5 or 6 weeks, and not only that, there was a big charity in our hometown as well. There were cyclists that cycled all over Ireland, and they hadn't finished theirs as yet, and we didn't want to step on anyone's toes, especially when it was for such a great charity that they were doing as well. So we couldn't promote we could start organising our run, but we couldn't promote it until they had finished theirs, because we really didn't want to go in over them and take any they were going to give. And they went for 4 charities, and one of them happened to be the Mayo Roscommon Hospice as well. So it was the same thing really. So actually what we ended up doing was just maybe giving them a boost online or social media, what they were doing. And so that was that. So we had 4 weeks to promote our run for the coast of Mayo, and the beauty of it is we never really stopped training either. We never stopped training since last year. because we always in the back of our heads were thinking we're going to do the Wild Atlantic Way at some point. So we want to keep the base that we had for the Mayo Dublin route, or the Dublin Mayo route. So we had the training done. So then it was down to just promoting, and between Chris Gavigan and Angelina Nugent and Martina Jennings in the Mayo Roscommon Hospice, we nearly got to 10,000 in the 4 weeks. So that was fantastic, and not just the money raised, but I think we done so much to raise awareness for what hospices do in general around the country. So they're just fantastic.
So a lot of good work done then there. I have a question here from a fan of yours.
Right.
His name is Owen Colgan.
No way.
He said, would you tell Morris about what happened in New York?
What happened in New York? New York was more Boston than New York. It was just it was crazy. It was just do you know what? The thing is, I can't really remember most of it. So no, me and Owen went out and we done 2 gigs in Boston, New York. We flew into New York, and we hooked up with Owen's cousin Steve, who is like, he was out in this really, really, really posh place out just outside near Long Island. And we were only there for one night. The thing is, we were only there for 5 days, and we had to go between New York down to Boston, then back up to New York to do another gig. It was just crazy. It was the stuff of movies. It really was, going up, going down. It was anything and everything that you could do in 5 days. We basically did it. We missed the bus coming up from Boston as well. We were always running late for our gigs, but we managed to get there in time. It was just mental crack, and I can't wait to do something again like that.
It was all pressure, was it? All like last minute stuff.
The pressure. It was a bit like. It was just crazy. It was just like we were being escorted in through back hallways into these venues, and it was like being in the movies. It was absolutely crazy. I can't wait to do it again.
And was obviously the majority of the people there were Irish, were they, or was there any Americans that watched us?
I'd say it was about 75-25, and I'd say the 25% of Americans would have had married to Irish people. There was a couple of American girls there that they were lovely, and they were just pure American, So it was great. It was just, if you've ever been to New York, you can drink and drink and drink in New York and party and party and party and never ever get tired. It just has an energy of its own. It is mental. When you put your head down to try and some rest, it's literally like an invisible hand comes through the window and just grabs your neck and says, "Come on to fuck, there's crack to be had." And that's New York for you. And Boston is a bit more sedate, but then again, it's a city. It's a bit like Galway. It's just like a bigger version of Galway. Whereas New York is just, there's no comparison. New York is New York, and it is just fucking crazy. It's just mental. New York is just crazy.
I'd say there must have been something specific. I think Owen may have been referring to, but maybe you don't remember it.
I don't know what he's talking about.
I'll find out, because I have him on now in a couple of weeks. So
I think he still has. I think he might have picture evidence. I don't know.
Well, unless he has it printed out anyway, nobody will see it.
Yeah, indeed. But no, it was. I can't wait to do it again. I'd love to do it again. But then again, you could go to Baghdad with Owen, and you'd have great crack.
Yeah. Right, I'm gonna wrap it up there, so because we're gonna keep it around the 40-minute mark or that.
Perfect. That's exactly.
And it was an absolute pleasure.
Thanks a million, Mars. And can I give a little bit of a plug to our own new podcast, Dead Hedgehogs?
Yes.
We're trying to line up a few podcasts now. We actually, on our first or second live, we got banned off YouTube for a week. So we had to reset a few things. But yeah, the Dead Hedgehogs on YouTube, and hopefully we'll be throwing out a few podcasts the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'll put all the links to the channel and everything like that in this video anyway.
Thanks a million, man. Perfect.
And it was great chatting to you, Stephen.
Very much. Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Stephen. Thanks.